Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. So, hello everyone. I want to begin by praising my Creator, by acknowledging the original power of the realm, by considering that we human beings are the created dimension of life, and that God is the creator, and why one human being is speaking about this. There's an importance, there's something important here. From the angle of someone who wanted to advance civilization, I came to realize that as long as man has set his sail towards the worldly, he is in some sense failing. And so the privilege of life I have had is that in some sense, when it came to worshiping the world, something made me not focus on that. When it came to worshiping others, something took my attention from that. And then the last stronghold that was left was that I was worshiping myself. Did you know you can do that? Did you know that you can worship yourself to the degree that you feel you're being destroyed by yourself? You see, worshiping yourself still is considered as idol worship. So as far as I'm concerned, modern society is telling us to focus on being this self. This self has to do everything. This self has to get everything. If you're not yourself, then it's like an issue. But the self is the issue. What can a human in this moment that is super tired tell you? I can tell you this. God is the next phase. Because if you do not consider an intelligence in the original position of being, Ya Allah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a short episode. I pretty much want to get out this idea and say that for modern people, for modern human beings, they are thinking, okay, there is no God, there is no system admin, we are free to do whatever we want, and that's it. This shit is inefficient. Okay? And with 15% battery power of my phone that's recording this lecture, I would like to tell you this. It's either you're in an empty room or you're not. And the room is not empty. And upon acknowledging the system admin, the type of life we have would be so much incredible than the life we have now. If let me tell you, pretty much it's like you're either functioning as a lower self egoic entity. That means your desires are giving you purpose in this world, or you have acknowledged that there's the presence of the original creator and your whole life has shifted in accordance to the consideration of that you're not in an empty room anymore, that the evolution of matter was not into a mind that just freaked out by seeing an infinite landscape. The purpose of evolution was for matter to meet its owner. Right? And this is weird. I'm not talking about us as if we're like pets of the celestial. The way I'm talking about us is that there is an administrator. We have a commander. It's just the commander is beyond the battlefield. I'm sorry, guys. I even expected to give like a very deep and excellent episode. But right now, the type of energy I have in this moment is one where I feel a little bit alone in this moment. And because of this feeling of loneliness, I don't really feel that motivated to give this episode. I'm a human being. Sometimes I think people forget that. God is necessary as the next intelligent interaction level for an object. Like, we gotta be real here. Realistically, it's scary being an object. Can we accept this? Can we talk about this? Can we acknowledge that we all wear clothing, watches, get nice cars, act as if, look at me, look at this position I'm in. But are we forgetting the fact that the very thing that's given to us that we're using to act like we're something is going to be taken away? And then we will wonder what it was about. And then we will wonder, when a world mover was born, did people care and did people listen? That's the problem of today. The passion to live for that which is better. To live for that which is greater than us. part of me really wants to see the greatest performance of humanity, and a part of me wants to see like God forgiving humanity and giving it a great opportunity to in some sense become an excellent part of the system, not a system that is sinless so it forgets the creator, but in some sense a system that is empowered by the remembrance of the original power. Why do you think I'm talking about God all of a sudden? Why do you think? Because, believe it or not, like someone who was ignoring the idea and just worshiping himself, I discovered the limitation of trying to do it all your own. God is here. God is the administrative power of the world. And when I would give the lectures and I would say we gotta, turn 8 billion human beings into 8 billion advanced communicators, and 8 billion advanced communicators will build an will build an advanced civilization. The advanced civilization will be tilted towards updating faster than it can be destroyed, therefore it succeeds. And all of this permitted by God's divine grace. So it's as if we wanted to build an advanced civilization. Like, it's as if the religious people were like, what, Mr. Within? What are you gonna do? And I was like, okay, we look at what's the most advanced archetype, and we try to be that. Okay, and so it's the advanced civilization. So to the secular audience, I worked and I was like, all right, folks, this is what you live for. You don't believe in a God, unfortunately. You don't believe in a soul. All you believe in is the future of your physical human shape, then at least live for that. But then in my efforts, it's as if I managed to successfully convince the secular realm of like, okay, come and help build the advanced civilization. Now I have come to religious audiences, and to the religious audience, and something even beyond my control over any impression on any human being, it is God. So all I can say is the greatest advanced civilization known to man will be built, God willing, if God wills it. At least I know God has created a human being like me to come and talk about it. But how it will happen is so beyond me that I have learned what happens when you become humble, what happens when you bow body, mind, soul to a being that is beyond the world. You know what happens? You learn to appreciate that which you can't move. And that is how life works. It breaks us heart by still letting us know we can mess up. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful. Again, I apologize. This lecture should have been longer, right? I feel that. But a part of me also feels like, all right, let's end it for today. Let's end off this lecture and have that moment, the post alone, staring at the cosmos moment. You know, this life is so magnificent that it makes you have so many emotions about yourself. There's moments, most moments, you're looking down on yourself. But there's some moments where you're like, wait a minute, I might be worthy here. And then the moment passes and you're like, nah. Since your childhood, your eyes have known what they've been. You know, a part of me, I think, is heartbroken. Because God is so great and man is so fucking weird that sometimes I think the creator's like, oh my God, you species, stop doing weird shit and just notice where you are. What else is being asked from you? You made the wrong decision when you were in Eden, in heaven, and now you're on earth and you're still not making the right decision. Do you know, it's like, how many times are we gonna be like deceived? You know what I want to see? I want to see a human species that is excellent. That if you were British by mere sight, you would go brilliant. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm talking about 8 billion human beings acknowledging the creator, which is the highest power, acknowledging the highest power source, and then sincerely and humbly, sincerely acknowledging the highest power force, and then power source, and then humbly upgrading this. What else can I ask of you? You know? You know, something I appreciate about Italian American culture. Get the fuck out of here. You know, like that attitude. You know, for me, anybody who doesn't want to build an advanced civilization, get the fuck out of here. You know, get out of here. Human beings are funny. You know, like we have that to our advantage, right? Like we prepare to do something great, then we mess it up, then we laugh about it. Then years later, some people actually do it. Then we applaud. Then we find some other thing to mess around with, right? Like the attitude we should have. Like honestly, you know, if it was like, let's say in some futuristic scenario, galaxies like higher lord galactics and some sci-fi fantasy. None of this is real. Please consider this. I'm just creating a sci-fi situation. I'm a sci-fi novelist. Okay. I might actually be one of the few, you know, Muslim sci-fi novelists that are alive now. You know, who knows? But anyways, imagine there was a scenario where, you know, like galaxies, the leaders of galaxies were like, all right, let's have like planets in some sense, like, what do you call it? Like, you know, sports, let's create a sports tournament for planets, right? And so imagine they did something where they made the human species compared to like other species like on other planets, and we had to fight. Our species would be freaking hilarious because our species has mastered a ridiculous skill. A ridiculous skill where the if there were accept the absurd and laugh about it. Do you understand what kind of souls we are? We are souls that something like bizarre happens. We look at each other. Just the fact that we've both acknowledged the bizarreness, we both start laughing. That's the kind of species we are. You know? Believe it or not, the human species is so freaking funny, right? That it's like if a group of human beings are, let's say, breakdancing, if aliens landed on Earth, like a human being would go in front of that alien and go and do like some dance. I'm like, yo, do you have moves, alien? And the alien's like, yo, initiating human contact, and does like the most next level breakdancing moves. And we're like, yo, this alien's got moves, you know? And so that's the thing about humanity. We celebrate any progress of any kind. This is what I didn't understand as a kid, right? That it's so easy to be happy. You know, if you're someone who's depressed, you better be a leader of humanity. If anybody who's not a world leader, you don't have a right to be depressed. In the future, imagine there's going to be police. Anybody who's depressed, these police are going to come and they're going to start doing magic tricks until the person's no longer depressed. And they're like, sir, this is your final warning. If you're depressed one more time, we might have to bring in, the advanced tactical clown team, to make you jolly, and the sir's like, oh, don't worry, man, I'm not going to be depressed anymore. It's like, thank you, officer. Guys, the world can be incredible. We just need to relax our expectations on what it has to be so we don't destroy ourselves in the mistakes that we will make. For me, I was like, my God, We got into religious community, and we got this giant secular community. And we've got like 8 billion human beings, and these human beings each have like value. Do you know, like, there's moments where my entertainment is so simple. If they're like Mr. Within, do you need a giant TV to be entertained? I'm like, I don't even watch TV. You know, if they're like Mr. Within, do you need something special, luxury to be entertained? You know, do you need the most attractive women to be entertained? And I'd be like, no, 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 no. What entertains me after my lower self desires are like met? Like, my lower self desires is just like, honestly, at this point, I'm just like, God, just help me get married. So I can see what the next phase at least looks like. But deep down, a part of me feels I'm not. I think God knows. I think everybody knows. I think it just took me a long time to realize. I think that I am so comfortable. Simply live a normal life. I feel unworthy. I don't know. Like, I feel unworthy to live a normal life because I saw what's behind the scenes. So now I must serve what's behind the scenes. But what's behind the scenes serves what's in front of the scenes. So I go directly to the system admin and I say, oh creator, I am a soul that promised to give 10,000 talks, yet now realizes no, it cannot have an authority above the admin. Therefore, with forgiveness, it's like trying to save humanity, then realizing you were making a sin, and then asking for forgiveness, but still a part of you is like, what now? What happens to these? Well, the variables have changed. We have gods in the picture. So it's like somebody who thought they were the captain of the ship. They're like, oh no, I'm not a captain. Okay. All right. My phone died. I came back to life. My phone died. Okay. So I'm going to actually turn this off and I guess start another one.